And along with people like Alex Padilla and corrupt people like what's his name, Dean Logan, we also have a huge problem in LA County where we have a corrupt police department. We have a corrupt DA, Jackie Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, yesterday, Jonny went to a protest where cops had beaten up a young woman. And there were protests there. So you guys can check that out, where what Jonny covered, because it's a lot. And he was there. And the mayor came out, and we have this kind of adversarial relationship with the law enforcement. If you're a protester, if you are somebody that really stands up to unfair, unjust authority, there's an issue. But LA has gone further. They have increased the police budget, but simultaneously slashed the public services and the working class communities. So these working class communities before were already poor. We have homelessness. We have people who are being evicted because they can't pay their rent. Then the pandemic came and it made it all 10,000 times worse. So The Intercept did a really good investigative article on New York and LA because there's parallels there. We have wonderful Cuomo, we have wonderful Newsom. They're all great. They should be president, right, Pasta?
Yes, ma'am.
Two of
the corruptest motherfuckers, we got them.
Just to summarize parts of the article, you guys.
I'd rather have Ron DeSantis as my governor than those two jerk-offs.
I don't know if I go that far.
Well, all right. But I just want to prove a point that it's...
No, they're bad. They're bad. They're bad. God.
Hey, DeSantis was good on try to clean up that water and get after Big Sugar because he wanted tourism to come back and he wanted to got all money. We understand that, but the other ones they ignored that shit.
So in LA, the police department in the agency is a lone city agency that is not facing the serious cuts. It is also slated to receive additional funds for police overtime, even as other city workers are furloughed, and then investing in police at the cost of public goods like health infrastructure, education, and social support has a disproportionate impact on poor and Black and Latino communities in particular, the same communities that are also most impacted by over-policing and by COVID-19, which you guys can see in Jonny's video. There's a traditional trope or myth that we don't invest in low-income communities, and particularly in communities of color across the country. But in fact, we do. We spend a lot of money in those communities, but it's almost always entirely on criminalization. So again, this goes back to, this is why it's such a big deal what Joe Biden did, what Joe Biden said, because it's not like they can get away with saying, oh, but we're investing in LA. We have all these millions of dollars going into LA. But where is that money going? That money isn't going to house the homeless. That money isn't going to make more programs like bridge housing for the homeless. That money is going into to criminalizing those poor and homeless people. It is a crime now to be poor.
Yeah,
it is expensive to be poor, if that makes any sense.
Well, it's crime. We got to fight crime.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the guy who wanted a fence so high to stop those drug runners coming in. I'm the guy who wrote the crime bill. I'm the guy who pushed to bomb brown people in Iraq. Vote for me because Trump.
And
was my Joe Biden
better?
It's getting better.
Like your Bernie. I think your Bernie's the best. I don't know.
I thought my Jesse Ventura was the best. Huh. I thought so. He's He's the candidate I like the most. People always go, "You're a Tulsa." No, I'm a Jessel. Jessel. I mean, I love Jesse Ventura, but go ahead, fam, because we're talking Empire.
No,
we got to talk.
I'm just going to say, and the budget, the LA, when you're talking about the police budget, you can't touch it. You can touch everything else. Yes. You can cut everything else, but it's untouchable. And the mayor's proposal budget / services and furloughs, $16,000 for 16,000 city employees. And the $10.5 billion plan to include significant cuts to every city agency but one, and that was the police department. And this already took up more than half of the city's discretionary budget. And you can't really question the budget. And Eric Garcetti proposed $47 million in additional funds to the LAPD. This is Eric Garcetti, okay? The guy who's supposed to take care of the homeless, who we were saying, okay, thank you for allocating these millions of dollars to do that. Not much has been done, you guys. And this is at a time when 55% of city residents are unemployed, okay?
Yeah.
And overall, the proposed budget would cut city investment in housing by 94% and from job programs by 8.9%, while boosting police expenditures by 7.1%.
Half
So-
of LA City is unemployed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Over half. Actually.
Over half.
Yeah, right now because they can't go back to work. Let me tell you something about Garcetti. He's Italian, right? But his mozzarella is tough. Tough like fucking shoe leather. Garcetti, you don't know how to make mozzarella. You're disgraziato to the Italians and you're disgraziato to LA. Thank you.
Well, and the fact is, this is what I want to bring up too, is that LA and California, and LA in particular, are constantly hailed as progressive areas where, oh my God, you guys must have it so much better, especially when people in Florida or the South, they see what's going on here. But that's not absolutely the case. And this is what they said here. LA somehow has this reputation as progressive. Said another caller, absolutely nothing about this is progressive. The city council delayed a vote on the budget, which is what they always do. And it'll go in effect on July 1st. So this is just, there's little transparency too, because you can't demand to see, okay, can we demand to see what exactly is being allocated in this budget? Nope, that doesn't happen. And all these decisions happen behind closed doors. It's not transparent.
Let's talk about that too. If you give a lot of money to the police department, you say, hey, I'm going to give a lot of money to the police department for reform. I want to make sure we have a good screening process, that we're choosing the right people to be police officers, not people that will go and take a baton and start whipping on a little girl in El Monte just to get them in cuffs. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we're going to reform. We're going to talk about giving them crisis, instructions or teaching whatnot, so they can learn how to talk more before taking out the baton. Maybe we're going to spend more money in community outreach, so that the police officers become one with the community and look after them and stuff. But no, they're going to spend the money on more weaponry, more, ways to build more prisons. They put more people in them. It's part of the pipeline situation. They're all connected. The finances. Garcetti wants to make sure his friends get their schatol, and that's the corporately owned prison industrial complex. That's what it is.
Is that them beating up
again
the people, Johnny?
It's disgusting. Somebody screams. Look at him. Why does he got to wail at his back? What is that doing? Yes, why is he doing that? What sense does that have to do that you're acting out of anger?
Trip.
It is. It's disgusting.
Okay. I'm back.
Yeah. It's obviously
It was all
not
mistaken identity?
And it's obviously not every single cop. I mean, obviously, but come on, you guys. I mean, this has got to stop.
It's just too much. There's too many bad apples. It's like Priest. The screening process sucks.
Yeah.
Who do you let become a cop? You know what I'm saying? You really have to end the training. It takes you 3 months to become a cop, and it takes you years to become a lawyer, and you're supposed to be the boots on the ground enforcing the laws.
No.
And once again, I think a lot of cops forgot that it's their job to protect and serve us, and it doesn't help the fact that we've made these cities so poor that people have to go and resort to crime just to feed themselves nowadays. And that's what really sucks.
And we shouldn't be imprisoning people for being poor.
And what kind of message do we send when we take all the weaponry out of Iraq that was used in those wars and we hand them over to the police department? This was from the Atlantic a couple years. Iraq weapons, they wind up in the hands of the police force. And there's an article about it, how the war on terror has militarized the police. All they did was take that weaponry, bring it back, take the camouflage, spray paint it black, and put their own whatever station they work in, LA Police Department, whatnot. That's where a lot of this equipment that was used to kill people in a war zone are now with the police department. So you give the boys with their toys, they're going to get even more jumpier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the whole mentality you're setting, the subconscious mentality that you're setting when you give people these weapons of mass destruction and everything. They're not weapons of mass destruction, just bullying weapons.
You see SWAT teams with assault rifles. And, and then
tanks.
Remember we covered in the very beginning, it was probably over a year ago, when the SWAT team raided the marijuana dispensary over here in Pasadena.
Yeah, 2 SWAT cars going down the street in Pasadena, and they had 2 old veterans.
For
SWAT tanks, and then the
medical marijuana
police
place.
walked in with fucking assault rifles and shit.
You wonder why people want
Johnny,
guns?
pull that up.
You wonder why people want guns, you guys? I mean, this is the thing. This is why I can't argue against guns, because even though ideologically I don't like guns and I would rather not have them exist, the police are armed. The military is heavily armed. The police are so heavily armed that they're walking into a weed shop with a machine
medical
gun.
Weed shop.
Are you serious?
Johnny,
Come
can we play
on.
the short one, the raw cuts, real quick, and put that up there? Let's just play it real quick because it's awesome. Johnny, this is great.
Come on now.
about marijuana. Look at him.
And we use those whenever we're going to high-risk warrant service or we get called out on a barricaded suspect.
Hell no! We won't go! Hell no! We won't go!
We have patients and then patients no ones and patients wants for the existing shop to stay. They don't want big companies come to the hospital. That's the main thing.
Can I just say that,
Good work, John.
yeah, that was a great video. The tank and all these things. How much does that cost
Yeah.
the city of Pasadena? Because that's, I mean,
The
seriously,
helicopter, fam.
if you guys don't care, if you think marijuana is a gateway drug like Joe Biden thinks, if you think, you know, it's like the freaking reefer madness and all this BS, like even if you think that about marijuana, how much is it costing us taxpayers?
Yeah.
Right? Like to
Yeah.
do like why?
To go down the street,
And
Colorado
they have
Boulevard,
helicopters here every
all
2
the
seconds,
time.
literally every. Why? Because near our neighborhood there are a lot of people of color, and they're always monitoring here with helicopters and law enforcement. They're all huge presence in
Yep.
Pasadena, and before the pandemic, there was always like, I don't know, like so many cops on Colorado Boulevard.
Yep.
Like so many.
Mhm.
And they would just arrest people for nothing. They
Yeah,
would just
terrible.
arrest people.
They're just terrible. And you're in a poor part of town, you're going to jail.